evening. It is Thursday, October 17th, and this is the Board of Health. Pursuant to Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2023, this meeting will be conducted in person and as a courtesy by remote means in accordance with applicable law. Please note that while an option for remote attendance and/or participation is being provided as a courtesy to the public and board members, the meeting hearing will not be suspended or terminated if technological problems interrupt the virtual broadcasts unless required by law. The meeting will be recorded by local scene. Members of the public who wish to watch the meeting may do so by viewing Duxbury Government Access Channels, Verizon 39 or Comcast 9. Viewers can visit the localscene.media/Duxbury/ for information about Duxbury programming, including streaming and watching replays on Duxbury YouTube. Okay, our first item on our agenda is 221 Birch Street.
Good evening. My name is George Collins, registered professional engineer from Collins Civil Engineering Group, representing Mike Olivas for 221 Birch Street. I don't know if you'd like me to proceed.
Please continue.
Yes, so would it be possible for me to share my screen?
That you please do.
Did everybody see that screen?
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Yes. So, this is a septic upgrade. No increase in design flow. It's just one of those properties that should have never been built. Obviously, if this was a new construction project, it would be non-conforming. So it's just a very, very difficult property. This is an existing 3-bedroom house located on the south side of Birch Street. This is the house here. Right in here, there's an existing tank and an existing leaching field. We had a wetland delineation done. The wetland line wraps around the property with this green dashed line here. And then we also have a perennial stream that runs along here. Basically, and then this is the 50-foot wetland buffer here. So there's just no place on this property that is conforming. Basically, we went out there and did some test holes, 2 test holes here, and got a 3 or 4 minute perk rate. Is relatively sandy material, and so now we're speccing out I apologize. So we are speccing out a singular advanced treatment septic tank right here, and then we're also proposing a pump chamber just to achieve water table separation. We're proposing some erosion control. And basically the way the system is designed right now, it's a couple feet out of the ground, and we're requesting multiple variances or local upgrade approvals and waivers from both the state code and the local code. If you want, I can read through those individually. We're requesting a setback reduction for the leaching field to a wetland from the required 50 feet to 19 feet. Just to be noted, advanced treatment and an impervious barrier proposed. So we will be getting that advanced treatment. And then we have an impervious barrier right here. And it's actually the setback to the chimney. So to the actual foundations, it's a couple more feet, but to the actual chimney, it's 7 feet. We are requesting a setback reduction from the septic tank to the wetland. The requirement is 25 feet. We are requesting a reduction down to 8 feet, which is this dimension right here. That's a setback to the pump chamber. Again, this is where the plumbing comes out of the house now. The plumbing goes under the slab. We have no real plumbing options, so we're just kind of stuck with that, unfortunately, so that's where the pipe comes out. So by default, that's where we cited the advanced treatment tank as well as the pump chamber. Let's see here. Let's see, and then we got a work rate greater than 2 minutes, so under the state code, a 4-foot water table separation is required. We're requesting a reduction from 4 feet to 3 feet with advanced treatment. The advanced treatment technically would allow, under normal conditions, if we met all the other requirements, we could actually do a 2-foot water table separation reduction. We're only requesting a 1-foot water table separation reduction. The other thing that you should note is it also allows a 50% area reduction in the leaching field. We are providing the full-size leaching field. So we're doing the advanced treatment to allow us to go down 1 foot with a 1-foot reduction in water table, but we are providing the full-size leaching field just to make sure that we have good longevity. And then one variance that we're requesting is to allow a wetland setback reduction and a water table separation reduction concurrently. And again, and then advanced treatment is provided. And with the, again, like I said, the advanced treatment under normal circumstances would allow a 2-foot water table separation reduction. And because we're requesting both of those local upgrade approvals concurrently, instead we're only requesting for a 1-foot reduction. And one thing to notice, again, this is already a couple feet out of the ground. If we did come up another foot, we're just kind of struggling with the grading, keeping the grading so it's not too high against the house, as well as so the grading doesn't go into the wetland. And then under the local regulations, you have a 150-foot setback requirement to a wetland, and we are requesting a reduction similar to the state code down to 19 feet. Again, just very difficult circumstances. We don't have a lot of options here. The other thing that's kind of preventing us from doing a lot of things is you get the gas line that's located right here. So we're just kind of between a rock and a hard place. And then the other thing is the reduction, the water table separation requirement of 5 feet under the local regulations. We're requesting a reduction down to 3 feet. And again, with this product, you can, under normal circumstances, can request a 2-foot separation reduction down to 2 feet, but we're maintaining 3 feet. So again, just very, very difficult project. I did 205 of these last year. I've done 3,700 septic designs in the last 22 years. And, you know, this is probably in the top 10 as far as just difficult circumstances. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions that the board or agent may have at this time.
I just have one question. Was the existing septic failing, or was it part of a home purchase?
No, it's a failed system. The person I'm working for just purchased the home.
So it didn't pass Title V?
It did not pass Title V, yes, that's correct. It's basically an old pipe and stone system that, this is it here, that dashed line there. So that system, number one, it doesn't pass inspection, but it's like literally like 2-3 feet off the wetland. So now we're obviously putting in something that's substantially better with advanced treatment. So, and the other thing is we are going before conservation on Tuesday next week.
Is there anything on this list that you can make more conforming? And if there is, why didn't you?
Like I said, the one thing that I mentioned is we are taking the 1 foot water table separation reduction, and I had already explained to you, so this is, let's see. Yeah, so right now the system's approximately 3 feet above the ground level. And we're kind of struggling with the grading. I don't know if you can see right here, but that's a swale there, and then we have another swale here. We're kind of getting to the point where if we bring the system up another foot, we're gonna be basically, I guess we'd have to put a retaining wall in here, and we're kind of right up against the house. So it's a double-edged sword where we're getting the reduction down to 7 feet to the foundation, but now that helps us as far as getting away from the wetland, but it's hurting us from a grading perspective. So the one thing that I think we could, that would be the one thing that we could do, but I do feel like that would create other problems. And again, with the advanced treatment, we're just under the state code, we're just reducing it by 1 foot. So I think this is going to be a really, really good system under the circumstances. And again, obviously, if this is a new construction situation, this property would never be built on. So, but yeah, so I mean, and then the other thing, just to promote longevity, rather than taking the 50% area reduction, that's allowable with the advanced treatment, we're doing the full-size system. So it's one of these things, we want to make sure we have longevity, maximize distances to everything that we can without causing other problems like surface water issues. So it's just, and I just feel like this, under the circumstances, we've kind of balanced everything, from an environmental perspective and practical, and then, just a practical perspective.
Oh, thanks. I appreciate your answer.
Karen, do we need to tie this approval in any way to conservation, or just wondering how they go together?
If I may.
Yeah.
Typically, obviously, a lot of times what a lot of boards will do is make it the approval subject to conservation approval. But typically, when you go to conservation, they want all obtainable permits in hand. Or so what I've seen is a happy medium. As far as a procedural thing, like what DEP would prefer to see would be to have all available permits in hand before you go to conservation, and then so they know the Board of Health is okay with it pending their approval. So as far as any type of a sequence of events, that's what I've seen in the past, which from a practical standpoint I think makes sense. It'd be good to go to conservation and say that we have your blessing, Board of Health blessing pending, making sure conservation's okay with everything.
And I guess in terms of, the existing system, that it's failed, and so obviously that's more of a consideration having that there in such proximity to that perennial stream. But do we have, I don't know if this is something conservation is going to address in terms of nutrient loading into the stream, or if there's any consideration. Do you have a sense of the reduction that's going to happen from a failed system to what you're putting in, and it may just be a consideration for.
I mean, the current system's in the water table.
Yeah.
With a standard 1,000 gallon septic tank. Now we're going from advanced treatment. With a 3 foot water table. So I mean, just. From a water quality perspective, I mean, I think, it's dramatically better than what is there. And then in some circumstances, in some cases, I would not propose the advanced treatment if I didn't have to. But again, because of the grading, the high water table, I thought introducing the advanced treatment was a good move. So I apologize, I don't even know if I'm answering your question, but.
No. Yep, absolutely. The advanced treatment, and just knowing that will address, existing water quality concerns associated with a failed system. We do the best we can in the tight space you have there.
He is, yeah.
Just have a couple questions on the impervious, liner. So that goes around the whole system, it looks like?
Yes, that goes around the entire perimeter, yep.
Okay, and what depth will that go to?
That goes, there is a detail on the plan. Basically, the way it's designed, the code requires is you're required to have it actually go into the water table. So, you know, you put it in so we actually have an elevation 46.0. And then the water table's 46.5, so the bottom of the liner will extend into the water table. And then it also goes above the breakout elevation here. So basically everything is gonna, you know, that'll prevent horizontal migration of the effluent, you know. Basically everything will, you know, come out, get treated, and then kind of be contained in this footprint and forced to, you know, go straight down into the water table, and then, you know, then prevent any migration of effluent towards the wetland. And then the other purpose is to make sure you don't have any vapors or migration towards the foundation. So that's why we wrapped it around the entire system. So I'm not proud of this design, but it's just one of these things that just, you know, like I said, I feel like it's the most practicable approach. You know, I think we have a good balance. You know, and then the advanced treatment systems, you probably know those are around $9,000. They require annual inspections. They require a deed restriction, which also by default, you know, is a deed restriction for number of bedrooms, garbage disposal, that type of a thing. So this is not only is this something we're putting in the ground, but it will, you know, a service agreement is required, a 2-year service agreement is required, and then and the board is actually kept in that loop. They're required to report to the board the entity that is hired to perform the maintenance, and then if that agreement is ever broken, they're required to notify the Board of Health that the maintenance contract has been broken. So there is a policing mechanism just to make sure that the system is maintained, you know, in perpetuity.
Are there
I'll
any
try
other?
to come back with an easier one next time I see you. This is not, this is, again, it's just very ugly, but not a whole lot of options.
So, I mean, though you can't predict a date, but you say that this will improve the longevity. What exactly did you mean by that?
Well, so again, the leaching footprint here, with that advanced treatment system, they allow us to literally cut the leaching field in half. But we are not doing that. So we're gonna have, again, it's, you know, we felt like, you know, by making the leaching field bigger, you know, it's literally 50% bigger than it has to be. I'm sorry, 100% bigger than it has to be. Because instead of being in half the size, it's the full size. So I just feel like, you know, that'll promote longevity. What I've seen from these treatment systems, it's like basically clean, odorless water that ends up going into the system. So between the advanced treatment and then the full-size leaching field, rather than the 50% area reduction, I feel like if this thing is maintained properly, I mean, it should last 50 years if it's properly maintained.
Thank you.
And then we're using the old school pipe and stone design. I've been trying to avoid the plastic chamber designs. Everybody's probably heard that, you know, that those systems aren't lasting. So a few years ago, after having all these problems with these plastic chambers, I've kind of, if whenever possible, just stick with the old school pipe and stone or concrete chambers, just because they tend to last the test of time, pass the test of time.
What are you finding with these plastic chambers? How are they breaking down, and is it all of them or certain
No,
kinds?
I think a lot has to do with the installer. if they're not, a lot of the installers will put these systems in and then they'll drive over them. Or, they'll go in there with what they think is a light vehicle, they have what's called a skid steer, and they go out there, they'll build the system and they put low and seeded, and then I think they end up putting heavy equipment over them afterwards. And then you have what's called knifing, where the actual chambers kind of push into the sand, they call it knifing. So, but at the same time, if the system is put in properly by the right contractor, I think the plastic chambers they do work, but it's just a matter of making sure they're put in properly. I mean, those plastic chambers on a hot day, they become rubber. They go from a pretty rigid plastic to so it's just, and it's those plastic chambers, they're all DEP approved, but it's like, I'm sure Tracy has seen it, almost all of the premature failures of these plastic chambers. Mm. So again, that's why whenever I have the space to do so, I'm going back to old school, pipe and stone.
Any additional questions? Okay, I think we're okay to vote. First, I move to grant the Title V local upgrade approval to 310 CMR 15.211 to allow this construction of a soil absorption system 19 feet from a wetland and advanced treatment and impervious liner provided versus the required 50-foot setback. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
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 Right, so everyone approved. Second, we'll move to grant a Title V local upgrade to 310 CMR 15.211 to allow the construction of a septic tank or pump 8 feet from a wetland versus the required 20-foot setback. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Let the record show it's unanimous. Number 3, move to grant Title V local upgrade to approval to 310 CMR 15.211 to allow the construction of a soil absorption system 7 feet from a foundation wall versus the required 20-foot setback. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Let
Aye.
the record know that it's unanimous. We've got 4 more to go. Grant Title V local upgrade approval to 310 CMR 15.211 to allow the construction of a soil absorption system within 3 feet of vertical separation between the high water elevation and bottom of the SAS with a percolation rate greater than 2 minutes per inch versus the required 4 feet of separation. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Let the record show it's unanimous. Move to grant a variance request from 310 CMR 15.405 to allow a wetland setback reduction and a water table separation reduction concurrently with advanced treatment. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Let the record show it's unanimous. I vote to grant a variance request from the Duxbury Board of Health Supplemental Rules and Regulations, Section 1.101A, to allow the construction of a soil absorption system 19 feet from a wetland versus the required 150-foot setback. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Mike, are you an aye? Mike, are you all set? Are you okay, all set with this one?
Yeah.
Okay. Let the
Yeah.
record show it's unanimous. Okay. Vote to grant a variance request from Duxbury Board of Health Supplemental Rules and Regulations, Section 1.11A, to allow the vertical separation between the high groundwater elevation and the bottom of the soil absorption system with a percolation rate greater than 2 minutes per inch to be reduced to 3 feet with advanced treatment and impervious liner provided versus the required 5 feet of separation. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, let the
Aye.
record, Thank you. Let the record show it's unanimous. Comments and findings. This is an existing 3-bedroom dwelling with no proposed increase in the number of bedrooms. The property does fall within a Zone 2 with 44,600 square feet of land. The system is not designed for a garbage grinder. The current system is in a failing state as reported in the Title V report dated June 7th, 2024. And the last thing we wanted to add, this is all subject to conservation approval. Sound okay to everybody? Okay. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Tracy, for your help. Have a good night. God bless.
Thank you.
Next board.
Good night.
Okay, our second item on the agenda is continued discussion with Duxbury Safe Water Committee regarding concerns to the town's public water supply.
So Becky Chin reached out to me to let me know that she doesn't have any new information currently. They're waiting on a forensic report to be reviewed soon, so she's hoping that she will be able to come at our next meeting and give us an update at that time, and thanked us for keeping her on the agenda,
Okay,
or
great.
keeping them on the agenda monthly.
Thank you. Lastly, health agent updates.
As we can see, Tracy's back.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Um,
I'm gonna let Lauren do the updates because I'm still trying to figure out what's going on, so.
Sure. It's brief. So Kathy Carney gave us the stats from September 19th through October 16th, 2024 for COVID-19 under age 5, 3 cases, over age 5, under age 18, 1 case, and then over age 18, 10 cases for a total of 14. For Lyme, we have 6 probable and 1 suspect, babesiosis 1, influenza A 1, salmonellosis 1, and listeriosis 1.
Okay.
And then for us, we're just continuing to go through and get our renewals in order for the end of the year. Tracy and I will be heading to MHOA next month for 3 days, which is exciting. So we're getting into our training season. And I think that's really it. We have a lot of COVID test kits at the library, senior center, and town hall here that are good through June of next year, with the intent that people will use them during the holidays as we start to gather more.
What's your training that you're taking?
So MHOA is Massachusetts Health Officer Association, and this year, because they moved back to a larger facility in Springfield, there are 6 different tracks that they offer. So they'll have one track that has all septic and Title V. They'll have one food safety track. There's a public nurse track, environmental health. I can't remember what else, Tracy. But there's a lot of options.
Emergency preparedness.
Yes, thank you.
That's important.
Emergency preparedness usually, and then there's usually like a general topic one too.
Yes.
Oh, good.
So it's an opportunity to not only earn our CEUs to keep our certifications up, but it's great networking with other towns.
All right, great, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Aye.
Let the record show, thank you. Let the record show it's unanimous. Thank you for your time and attention. And the next board meeting is scheduled for November 21st.